Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Scorpio channel. Let me know if you can hear me. Lately, either the camera's not been working, the audio's not. Are we in retrograde yet? I mean, hello, I feel like sometimes life is a big retrograde. When you have a lot of spiritual blocks, life is like a retrograde. And by the way, if you have a lot of spiritual blocks, and it is retrograde, you'll always get in your own way because retrograde is almost like the planet, everything's going backwards, right? So it's almost like when you're out of alignment, it brings it out even more. It's just the way that it goes. It's just what happens. So you'll be like, it's retrograde. And you might say, well, highly sensitive people, psychic people, very intuitive and internal people, people that are deep, they get overstimulated. Too much thought, too much emotion creates oversensitivity, overstimulation, and then forget it. You don't know what you feel. And I say that because this channel is all about shadow healing and what happens when you get triggered. Well, it's again too much thought, too much emotion. And again, there's a reaction. That reaction tells you, that emotional reaction tells you that there's something out of balance. And so we can actually see what's out of balance when we're in certain relationships. The universe grows us through the people that come into our life. And I only like to say that because a lot of times people, they listen to my video and they're like, hey Mose, and they say there's something wrong with me. Like I can't like be in a regular relationship, or what, does God want to punish me, or is there no God? And it's like, no, what it is that you don't know enough spiritual law. And people that don't know enough spiritual law get in their own way. See, it's all about loving yourself. Can you make a person love you? No, you can't make anyone love you. However, if someone does love you, even if they have spiritual blocks and they get in their own way, as long as you love you and you hold to a certain standard, that person will eventually surrender their ego. Now, will it look like the way that you want it to look? No. It'll look like, oh, I happened to bump into you. Oh, I made an excuse where I had to talk to you. Did I leave my socks at your house? Yeah, the holy ones. Yeah. It's again any little excuse, because the person doesn't all of a sudden evolve into a higher state of consciousness. They're not all of a sudden emotionally intelligent. People that have wounds are not emotionally intelligent. So we want to know what shadow readings are all about. We want to listen to them because it's not about whether your person has feelings. We know that they have feelings. We want to know, why does it look like that? And why am I attracting that into my life? And how can I make the emotional trigger stop? How can I stop ruminating? The rumination of thinking about that person and what they did and how they made me feel and what they should have done and how they know that they should have done. And why do I have such strong feelings for a person that would treat me with such disrespect? And why do I even care? And then it's again all these different emotions and all these different thoughts. And so the universe conspires to bring you what you need, not what you want, but what you need. It happens to come in a nice looking package. But understand, everything is to help you heal, to evolve into the highest state of consciousness. You're born into families, and those families give you the ancestral karma that was inherited from the collective karma, what was going on. And then your born parents form their own individual karma. And then you're born into the family and you inherit that. And so generations, it says 700 generations in the Bible inherit that trauma. So how would we know how to heal? What does it mean? Well, life, you're in physical form to learn and to manifest. Life is the school. You get the tests first and you get the lesson after. So there's many different realities that play out at one time. Your level of consciousness depends on what you do, right? Because it's your core beliefs are based on those, beliefs, obviously, but then the behaviorisms and habits are in alignment with those beliefs. So understanding what you're doing, why you're attracting, who you're attracting, allows you to shape shift the energy. Again, there's many different realities. So I always want to explain so that you realize that you are the alchemist of your life. It's again, we can't get rid of negative energy. The more you ruminate, the more angry you get. Well, it's not doing anything except for taking you down. There's many a person that's gotten breast cancer and other physical issues due to being connected to the wrong person. So it's about learning to master yourself and understand that every person that comes into your life is a teacher, to look at it that way. And it's about learning how to deal with stress, because like I said, the person's going to definitely stress you the fuck out because they're going to trigger a nerve. It's because what the universe is saying is, hey, you're me, and you see that makes you not clear. You're supposed to be clear. You know that you're clear when you're at ease, when you're at a vibration of unconditional love. And the person you're connected to is what you want to rip the person's head off. That's not the energy. So the universe has to teach you. But again, that person's coming in mainly to dig up all of those old traumas, because they wouldn't be able to dig up anything if they weren't there. You wouldn't get triggered. That it's not like 50 years old and the wound just came about. No, you've been walking around with that trauma for a long time of being disrespected, not valuing yourself. You know, it comes in the form of shame, guilt, victimization, betrayal, you know, the lower core beliefs. We only want to evolve into the highest state of consciousness, which is unconditional love. That's the energy of the universe. That's the energy that's when you're at ease, that's the energy that you're at. So just to give you a little advice of what this channel is about, it's all about shadow healing. But we do go back into your inner child. So let's take a peek and see what that word of the video is. Remember, if you want to enter into winning free reading with me, got to be open to getting a shadow reading. Duh. You know, you also have to be open to getting the reading live. You don't need to tell me your questions live. You can send them to me the day before if you're one of those people that's like, I don't want anyone to know. Your heart is broken. Allowed him to get a hold of my emotions again. But see, that's the thing. There's your attention, you know, is your greatest tool. Where you put your energy, and your attention is one of it. All right. Unstructured. I don't like this word, and I'm going to tell you why. Because when I see unstructured, it's like, it just reminds me of people that are like, I want to keep it real casual. Like, kind of like, I want to do like a friends with benefits type deal. You know, that we're not really together, but we're not really, you know, because it means it's the relationship is just going to turn into a lot of drama, and that's connected to a lot of trauma. And the reason why is because the person is not committal. Unstructured is like, I want to keep it casual. I don't want there to be rules. I don't want to have a title. I don't want to have, so it's not so much that, and I feel like you're someone that is by the book, you're old fashioned. It's like Scorpios, we're deep. We don't like to do things on the surface. It's just the way that it is. It's like, it's not bad, it's real. It's like, it's real. We want deep. And you know what? I'm a Virgo, but I have all Scorpio undertones. I'm really more like a Scorpio. And so, but I know it's like deep and emotional. And this person also is like, I don't want to go that deep. You know, if I want it on the surface, and I don't want titles, I don't want to be held responsible for anything. Also, that's why I don't like the energy. There's a bit of that. So I feel like you're in separation from someone, or someone that's holding back from you, where you feel like you're not, like you might have just started to talk, but it's still like this funky energy. And the reason why is because this person knows that talk is eventually gonna like happen, where you're like, okay, well, like, I don't want to disrespect myself. And that's what this person is starting to see, that they can't wear you down. Thank you, Diane. All right. So let's take a peek at what's happening. I feel like this person, it's like they're reliant. They're very codependent. They always have somebody like to help like clean up their mess. And I feel as if they're either going through something or they're about to go through something like where they feel like their life is falling apart. And so part of this person, like I feel like they either come back into your life and they come back into your life a little bit like broken, like to because they don't want to like look again at how they treated you. It's feel sorry for me. Like they're always like a victim. And that's the thing. This person always has to like create like a persona. And so the focal point again is like, I still can't give you anything because I'm broken, but I need your help. And guess what? If you don't do it, then you're a bad guy. You know, kind of like that type of energy. And I feel like it's because what they see is that they haven't given you anything. The relationship's coming down, it's crumbling. It's like it's not working out because you're not budging. You're like, I see what you're doing. You see what you're doing. You think that I don't know what you're doing. It's like we have a soul connection. And this is what I feel like, that you're like, I have a soul connection, and you can feel when the person's there and when they're not. And they know that, and it scares the shit out of them because it's like they don't want you to go, but they also don't want to give you. And so the thing is, it's like I feel like you're just in a karmic loop with this person. Hey, Gloria, where it's like I just feel like the memory, we've gone through this before, like, or I've gone through this before, and it's like, and spirit is saying bingo, bingo, meaning you have gone through this before with other people, and you are going through this with this person again, and it's because there's a karmic lesson that you need to learn. But that's, again, you're like the person, you can tell by the way that they shade things. It's like, I want you in my life, but I want you my way in my life. And you're like, that's not acceptable. Though there is this connection, and it's like when you're playing tug of war for long periods of time and you've been holding your ground, like, well, this person sees it's deteriorating the relationship. And it is, because it's making you resentful. And it's like, I feel like this person has a hard time of letting go of the past and the fears that are associated with it. So they manifest in chaos in their relationships. And that could be you too. You know, you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. And then you could be like, this is always how it's been. Well, guess what? If you grew up in parents that were codependent, that screamed at each other all the time, that would be a karmic theme. That would have imprinted where you're like, well, that I associate that kind of with love. But I also find relationships like you can't trust, because it's what you see. How do you inherit ancestral karma? It's not like they come up to you and say, hey, here you go. Here's some of your ancestors, sign on the bottom line. And no, what happens is you're living in a home and you're being programmed. You're watching. It's shaping your head. Your brain, rather, your head. Listen to me. Your brain is like putty. It molds continuously to the thoughts that you give it. It's, again, we recreate neurological pathways every second. So living in an environment where you're seeing the same thing you get automatic behaviorisms that are in alignment with those experiences. So even though the person wants love and you're like, I know that they have feelings for me. So because they do, because they're made up of a deity also. And the deity part of self is a God part of self that we all have. It's our connection to each other. It's called sensitivity. So you are feeling that, but you're also not taking into consideration their trauma. And then you might be like, well, why don't my shit don't look like that? I'm a mirror of who and what I come in. My shit don't look like that. And spirit says, no, but there's only two energies, love and fear. So in order for you to awaken to whatever is blocking you, it would have to be very intrusive energy. And this person creates drama. They don't feel safe in when things are like every day. It's like, here it is. You finally, I finally get relaxed in the relationship. And no, this person's got to like get in their own way and fuck it up. It's get in their own way. And it's like always waiting for the shoe to drop. It's again, they were raised in that environment. They're recreating that environment. They're getting in their own way. I know that I'm going to pull addictions. It's like I can just feel it. It's like, or I'd be very surprised if I don't, because it's like just gets in their own way, feels inadequate, feels like there's something wrong. So I know that they may not act like that. Usually they overcompensate, which is really irritating, because then you're dealing with a person that's insecure, but they're going to act self-righteous and cocky. So it's like, do I treat them like this, or can I treat them like that? It'll fuck your mind up. Like, I don't know what to do, because it's like, I want to say, but then I'll hurt their feelings. And it's their way of avoidance. Understand, they're masterminds of that. It's again where it's almost like if you're going to be with this person, you take on their burdens. That's the way that it would be. They're very codependent. And that's because they keep getting in their own way. So they rely on the connection, how much love you have. And the thing is, it's not like this person is emotionally intelligent where you're getting enough to begin with. So we have to look there first and say, why would you even attract a person like this? You have to say, because if you don't, you'll keep getting an energy like this in your life where you're like, I get people that act like they don't care. And that's because it's, again, you're not aware, especially if you're coming in and doing too much right away. And that would happen. That's how this person sets it up. Remember, they're coming in as handicapped Joe, or Jane, like, I can't see, help me. But, it's like, this way I don't have to do anything. It's like a person that keeps getting sick every time they have to go to work. And it's like, it's avoidance. Family patterns. And that's what I said. They grew up in an environment where they were conditioned to watch that play out. So they like relive that dynamic, because you have to understand, like, where did it come from? And the reason why we want to look at that, so that you can say, this doesn't belong to me. That actually belongs to you. But why am I experiencing it? That's always what you have to ask yourself. Why am I experiencing this? It's again because of the parents. And that's what it says, the family patterns. It's like the dynamic of the parents, what this person was seeing. And it's usually that the person has such a commitment phobic because they weren't allowed to have a childhood. They were the fixer, they were the healer, they were the doer. So now it's like, every relationship, I'm the fixer, I'm the doer, because it's part of their survival mechanism is to go in and do it, and then they do too much, and then they never know who they are. They've never created enough of who they are. They became who you want them to be, but they can only do that for a certain amount of time. So you'll be like, I feel like this person's a chameleon. And Spirit says, well, they are a chameleon. That's the way that they learned how to survive. It's again, they just haven't gone out into the world yet. And that's why it's like, this person does not like who they are. Yeah, because it's like, if you don't know who you are, you're always coming from a place of lack. Now you see this as an empty wallet, but when I feel in this story, I feel like it's a lack of who this person knows who they are. They don't know who they are because they haven't created themselves, which, by the way, would come up as a lack in money also. Now, it doesn't mean that they can't make money. That's a different part of the brain. They can make money, but they'll always lose money because they'll get in their own way to lose it. Self-sabotaging behaviorism, because I'm not lovable. I don't believe I'm lovable. So try having a relationship with somebody like that. It's like they relive that trauma. It's a root chakra imbalance. It's a lack of connection to the physical body, the physical world, physical elements of the physical world, and always living a place of fear. So always wearing a different mask. And it doesn't mean that the person doesn't care. That's what's messed up. We'll pull one more, but they'll project a lot, So we see that's a lot of baggage that hasn't been healed, right? If they just go into a new relationship and start all over again, and the same experience plays out, and then they don't date for a little while, then finally they date again, but it's the same story. It's a karmic loop. which happens when ancestral karma has gone that 700 generations. And it's like, hey, you're number 700. Come on down. Did you learn the lesson? And the person's like, no, I keep, and they're on a loop. They're just on a loop. And that person will eventually have addictions because it's escapism. Doesn't feel good. Person's going to check out. It's like, because how can you, like, everything's a trigger. So how close can you get if you're continuously projecting onto other people your trauma? How, as soon as you get close, the person can't get close. It's a behaviorism of, I watched that. This is the trauma that I went through. Now, does that mean that they don't have feelings? No. That doesn't mean that they don't have feelings, and I can prove it. Now, I don't know what kind of feelings they might like hate you, you know what I mean? But I'm awakening. I know more than I'm letting on. So I believe that this person, that you'd be like awakening. This person's like 80 years old. Well, understand people awaken at different ages. And I believe that we don't awaken all at once. I think that we have awakenings, just like we have go through dark nights of the soul, just the same as we become the phoenix. You know, we have different phases of life, just like we have different soulmates. Some come in for a day, some for a season, some for a lifetime. You know, it's part of the process. So I think that the connection is helping this person awaken, especially if they had a closed off heart chakra, right? It's like, our mission is to be unconditional love. Clearing our programming is a necessary part of opening our hearts. Well, again, so we see that this is a soulmate relationship. That doesn't mean that both parties are conscious of it. They just know, like there's a connection. I can't really walk away. It has a hold on me. It's like I find myself ruminating. I get triggered because programming is that. It's like clearing. You don't clear programs unless you're getting triggered. You know, you have to become aware of the programs, and the programs are outdated. They're, you know, what you were taught based on survival, like what you grew up in. But what Spirit's saying is like, you have to recondition that program. It's like, at this point, you keep going through these karmic cycles, these karmic loops, ancestral. Like, what are you passing on to your children? What are you passing on? What are you collectively doing? So again, the universe is always going to bring you somebody, something, somebody, and everything else that could possibly help you heal. So it doesn't mean that it's it's not easy, but unconditional love is, again, the energy of the universe. That's the energy of God. That's the energy when you are in your higher self, the God part of self. That's the energy that you're supposed to be able to be in, because that's when you live your bliss. You're not, I need to strategize. I need to figure out things ahead of time. So God says, you're not supposed to do that. The universe says, only in the now do I give you divine guidance through gut, intuition, and inner knowing. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. Don't do my job, the universe says. Do your job. Be like childlike. Be in the passion for life. And, oh, you need to know what that looks like. It's unconditional love. So again, you guys don't really know what that looks like. So I'm going to bring someone into your life that you want to rip their head off, but you also have unconditional love for. This again, and it's going to frustrate you. And it's going to be a paradox. And it's going to feel like it has a hold. But Spirit says, though, how do you think you clear ancestral karma? It's 700 generations and you're the last one. And how old are you? And we've been going through this same experience now, karmic situation for like most of your life. It's like, I'm going to make it a little tougher. Spirit says, the universe says, more hot water, turn it up. It's like, because you're not getting it. And that's why. So don't be tempted to disconnect from source. Our connection to source is the love and healing we require for reunion. So again, it's very twin flamey energy here going on, right? It's like, I don't really want to do this. Love, there's a runner chaser. It's hard. It's like, it's you trigger me. You get in our own way. It's like playing the cha-cha, dancing like 3 steps forward, 4 steps back. We don't go anywhere. It has no direction, and it doesn't need to be this complicated. That's what it feels like. But I love you. And really, unconditional love is that. And that's the energy of God. That's the energy of source. That's the energy of the universe. And the universe, like, this is what it's supposed to look like. Like, and like, how did we get the way that you are? You're like really like out of balance right now. Like, you're nervous, you have anxiety, you're angry, you're like, this person triggers you, you're ruminating on that same story over and over and over again. And it's like, what is it telling you? Because again, the programs need to be reprogrammed because they're out of alignment with where you want to go, what you want to do, what you want to create. This person wants love, but it's again not going to look like that. It's a psychological reversal. That's what it is. The person's like, oh, they're just going to get in their own way. They're going to self-sabotage. It's like they don't believe, but I feel the chemistry between us. We need to trust that this energy we share will bring us back together again. Again, twin flamey energy. Again, passion. Why? Because there's a fire. Fire transmutes that negative energy. We know that in alchemy. It's fire. It's, again, passion is part of that. We wouldn't stick around long enough to learn the lesson. It's annoying. Like, the person's pissing you off. Like, you love them, but you also don't like them. It's like, so it has to come in a good looking package. There needs to be, the universe knows that. So there will be a lot of passion, but that passion is there for a bigger purpose as well. It's also to create. Remember, the fire of transmutation is you got to ground it. You got to manifest. And why is that? Because when we're talking about twin flame energy, and this person grew up in a codependent, toxic environment where the parents screamed at each other. There might have been addictions. Again, there wasn't enough money. They lived in lack. They were programmed. There's not enough. I don't have enough. I'm not good enough. I have to give of myself. Abandonment of self. And the universe is like, listen, I got to get involved here because that, they kind of grew up in that environment. So, I'm going to have to put them in like a little special ed. I'm going to give them, people and different situations to help them awaken to the experience of unconditional love. But the love is going to be hard. It's going to be hard because those wounds are, those programs run hard and they're in ancestral. So it's like you'd have to. And the twin flame connection is that when you're brought up in that codependency, you wind up taking on one or the other role. You're either going to be the narcissist, you're going to be the empath. You're going to be one or the other. And that's, so one person's emotionally getting everything and the other person's not really getting emotionally anything. They feel like they're the ones that are holding up the bargain. And so it's like a relationship it's toxic. It becomes toxic over time because, we're not supposed to be a half a person. Like, the twin flame journey is that both parties are ready to evolve, to step into their divine counterpart, but they have strong gifts, but they're just as wounded. So divine masculine, and it doesn't mean that this person is a guy. It's just, again, person might have those traits. So it could be a girl that has those traits, and it's, again, that are gifted. Wow, you know how to make money. Look at all that money. The person just looks at things and it turns to money. They're really great with numbers. They love structure. They love organization. Oh, they're like clockwork. And then we got you over here that you're like flying all over the place. You hate structure. You don't really use your brain. You intuitively figure things out. There's no organization. It's just in your mind. So opposite. But the integration is that both people bring their gifts together and teach each other. It's, again, because you grew up in a certain environment and you were taught certain traits. So the twin flame journey of not just that sex and the passion and the hotness and the fire, but it's also Hey, we're going to learn compassion. We're going to learn vulnerability. We're going to learn how to compromise. Again, that's hard. We're going to learn how to forgive, the big one, especially because we grew up in an environment where it's, again, I can't forgive you because you made this happen, where God says, no, it just looked like that. Remember, you were born into a family just to learn. You have to have unconditional love. How can I have unconditional love for that? And then Spirit says, well, I'll show it to you through a different perception. So to make it easier for you to learn. And that's what we see here. We are coming into union 1111, twin flame energy. Like awaken, 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 awaken. That's what that means. It's time to awaken. Time to step into your best self, your true self. Time where you're like, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? Wait, I'm up. I'm supposed to be able to do this. I don't know what I'm doing. And then Spirit says, well, you got to get in your body and you have to, again, tap into the higher self, and you have your twin flame that'll help you. And then it's again, but you learned enough on your own. Expand your concept of what a twin flame is. It's more than romance. It's a deep soul activation to heal in order to embody love and light. I think we can end this. It's like literally, I said, it had twin flame energy, but well, that doesn't mean that you're not dealing with somebody that has a lot of trauma. You're not getting a perfect person. You're getting a person that's broken, that's learning how to step into their divine counterpart. The unconditional love that you have for someone makes you do it. It's, again, that's the catalyst that does. That's why, oh, you're my muse. It's, again, because there's a desire, there's a want. It's a deeper thing of belonging, especially if you grew up in an environment where that was codependent. You never really feel like you belong. You don't really feel like you could be loved. That's what it feels like. Even though the parents who could have loved you, they didn't act as if they loved each other. So the roots aren't strong. When the roots aren't strong, there's a lack of ground. Child does not have ground, doesn't feel safe, doesn't feel supported, emotionally can't get what they need. So again, that's where the masks begin, because it's like I had to play that role in order to get loved, in order to be seen, in order to fit in order. But God says, that's abandonment of self. That was taught at three and a half years old. That's when it was taught. That's when the program got activated. How are we going to awaken? Well, the first boyfriend that comes in, well, 15 years old. Okay, and then it's going to continue to play out as that karmic theme, and maybe a little lack of money, because over time it's going to bleed in. That energy will bleed into other areas of your life, so you don't want to work all the time. And that what that'll create is like, now when I see like laziness, when a person like it has a root chakra imbalance and they don't know, it's too much thought, too much emotion, and the overstimulation of trying to figure things out creates adrenal fatigue. So that root chakra is where the adrenals is. So that fight, flight, freeze, lack of connection to the physical body, the physical world, all physical elements of the physical world. And I only say that because you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. So this person may make a lot of money, but still be detached from their physical body. And it plays out in this way where you could still have a root chakra imbalance, and it won't play out this way, but it'll play out like as a lack of money. It'll come lack of feeling safe, supported, like it plays out in different ways. So understand, even though you get a person that mirrors your wounds, it doesn't mean that the way that you channel them out is the same. I just like to say that because a lot of times people are like, well, I don't do drugs and I'm not abusive and I'm not. It's understand it doesn't matter. Two energies, love and fear. It's all about the core belief. This is a twin flame energy that to help really get grounded, to recreate roots. And that doesn't just heal like financial issues and confidence issues, but it actually heals DNA. If you, because what you're doing is you're turning, it's your habits and your behaviorisms that turn your DNA on and off. And that's epigenetics proves that. It's the science that says that your environment creates your reality. So if a person continues to live in that environment, that's how they inherited that ancestral karma. And so over time, there's a sense of, I can't figure it out. This is all that I know. And I'm exhausted of trying to figure it out. The person's up in their head trying to do the universe's job, where the universe says, don't do my job, do your job. When the student is ready, the teacher appears, be like childlike, find yourself. It's again where this person is being forced to do things differently because there's a strong connection here. And it's again, and you're obviously not making it easy because this person wouldn't change. So we'll take a peek and we'll see what else. Because what you saw is, okay, well, they have a lot of, blockages, but when you walk away from that person, but you might say, well, how can I get the person to come back? Again, there's many different realities that play it at one time. I want the person to come back, but I want them to come back balanced. I want them to come back and understand you can't make a person do anything, but you change you, that automatically changes them. And when I say change you, it doesn't mean have a conversation. There's no conversation. It's just action. It's like you tell a person a lot more with action than you do with words. It's like hospitality. So again, I just feel like it's about being polite. It's about like hospitality. Like I think of always like it's formal, right? That's a formal word. Like it's I'm being hospitality. It's like, and I would treat this person a little bit like that conservatively, and be polite, be nice, be sweet, but don't let them be able to read you. Is what I'm saying. When you have hospitality, it's like you're polite. You're nice, you're kind, but that shows your character. Again, this person will try and like read a lot into like what your feelings are in hopes that they don't have to really get that deep, like have a conversation. So understand, be distant, create the, and I'm saying this because if this is a twin flame connection, this person. How do I not like this person? The antidote to not like this person and to get this person to change are the same thing. And that's to become more of yourself, not have any emotional, reaction. Be polite, be nice, but like within that, because look at them almost like hurt people. And I know that you'll be like, well, why do I want to be with a hurt person? Person begins to heal. And if they are willing to do the healing, then you get a different version of themselves. And if it's a real twin flame energy, you'll be fine like that you won't be able to help yourself. You'll be like, I just really do love this person, even though they're an asshole and I don't trust them and I hate them. It's like, well, understand, it's like I said, you got to find your gray line. And your gray line is to do that. Okay, so opportunity, new door opening, secrets revealed, freedom of choice. So I feel like you're going to have other options as well. So other opportunities. And I feel like those other opportunities are going to, again, have that secret reveal where that person acts like they don't really care. Maybe, again, hasn't talked to you in a really long time because hoping that you'll talk to them instead. Again, their ego. And the part of, again, the twin flame journey, the person has to surrender their ego. That's done with the help of the universe a lot of times. That's why the person tends to have to go through a dark night of the soul, because it's like Spirit's like, your ego is just way too big. It's like, and you created a lot of nonsense because of it. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to collect my due. And the universe comes in and knocks this person down a few pegs and then puts you in an upswing in your life. So where now this person is humbled. It's like, so the opportunity is the opportunity that happens to you, right? Actually unlocks this person's door, but it's also the universe says, well, now things are going to be a little bit harder since I had to get involved. It's like, I'm going to bring in Johnny or I'll bring in Jane, depending, like whoever you want. It's again, that's the now the person has to come in and they actually have to offer something where they probably wouldn't have offered before. Remember, the person's heart is closed. They give a little bit, and the universe is like gonna be looking over the shoulder, being like, what are you gonna, oh, look at that cheap. Like, it's like, okay, we're gonna have to get involved. It's like, because now the stakes are higher and they know. It's not that they don't know what they should give. They're just hoping that you don't know what you should be getting. So like I said, you're not getting a person that is already healed. The twin flame journey is hard because of that. It's like you're getting like a IKEA version, make it yourself. Like you're not getting it already assembled, nice. No, you're not getting that. You're getting the 10,000 piece. And you got like 5 extra screws and you don't know where the fuck they go. But you know that one day you're going to sit on that couch and it's just going to fall apart because you didn't really know what the hell you did with it. So it's hard. It's like sudden, and it's going to come like out of like, again, sudden. And it's like almost like it's going to catch you off guard. And the reason why is because you're going to be in an upswing. You're going to have other opportunity. And that's the way that, the universe is like, I don't need you to cut your inner psychic energy off from this person. Shut it off. It's like bringing this person. And it was like, now this person is going to be tapping in because there's normally that ESP connection. I don't feel this person. They get nervous. They go snooping because, again, there's still that unconditional love. And God says, that's me, by the way. I'm unconditional love. And I always win. The universe always wins. So I'm going to, bring this person in and I'm going to bring them to their knees now. They don't want to do this, but it's an ego death. And it's so, again, I win because I'm unconditional love. They have to learn how to get back to unconditional love. Yeah, they're going to fight it. They don't want to cave in. So when they come, they're not even going to know the day that they come. But it's going to be a day that you're not even thinking about it. You're in a high vibe. You're thinking that and it's going to kind of like piss you off a little bit that this person is going to show back up at this time because you're going to be like, what the hell? Why are you coming back now? And Spirit says, because you're going to be like, because like, of course, because I'm in an upswing, like I said, because of my success. And that's what this person is going to realize, that that's what it looks like. But they're not coming back at that time because of that. They're coming back at that time because they feel like they have a better chance. And the reason why is because they know that they treated you like an asshole. So if you're in a happy mood, well, maybe you won't remember all the details. It's again, and it's also, they don't even know the day that they're coming. It's almost like a day, like they get like a thunderbolt. Like it's out of nowhere. It's unexpected, just as unexpected to them as it is to you, because they don't have control. It's divine time. It's that the universe is involved in this connection. Because it's like, we got 2 handicapped people over here, but they need a little extra help. So the universe is like, now, motherfucker, move, and then the person's like, oh my God, I'm going to lose this person. Oh my God. It's like they're talking to somebody else. I don't feel their energy anymore. And at a time that you're like, la, 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 I finally got over this person. I'm feeling so good. I'm in my high vibe. Things are happening. I'm in the flow. And it's like, oh, motherfucker came back. It's like, why are you back? It's like, I'm pissed off that they're back. And Spirit says, yeah, that's the dynamic that I needed to play out. And you're like, why though? And Spirit says you have the opportunity to tell this person no. But the reason why you're mad is because you don't want to say no, but you want to say no. And that's the cognitive dissonance. And you're like, what the fuck is that for? And Spirit says, because you need to learn how to forgive. It was like the same way that person needed to learn how to forgive because of the way that they were raised, the way that you were raised. And so I'm going to give you this. It's again, so you're getting the IKEA brand. You're not getting the already made brand. It's a hard relationship. And it's because the wounds were 700 generations deep. And you were the lucky 700 that needed to break it. And you didn't break it for a long time. That's why. It's so, wishful thinking. It's like daydream. You both daydream of each other. So it's like there's the ESP through the heart and mind. It's like you just can't help it. And remember, children that are traumatized, what do? They disassociate. They daydream. And so they have very psychic powers themselves. And you and this person both had to disassociate growing up. So you both grew up in the same similar environment. So it was very traumatizing. Having to learn how to compromise and to learn how to be vulnerable when you were never allowed to be vulnerable, learning to let go, learning to forgive. These are very challenging things when we go through trauma. They become our armor, but that they also prevent us from allowing anything good to come into our life. It's again, because what we do is we have a wall up. So the person wants love because they wouldn't be able to manifest a twin flame. And you want love because you wouldn't be able to say, I manifested it, but why is it broken? Why is it that I got to put it together? Like, why is it look like that? And Spirit says, because that's your wounds. That's what you look like. You're like, my shit doesn't look like that. And Spirit says, oh, yeah, it actually does. It's like you're maybe not channeled out the same way, but the wounds are the same. See, like same environment, same experience. Yeah, but my shit doesn't look like that. And Spirit says, yeah, but it's the dynamic of the connection. You see, if you're with this person and you don't balance yourself out, then it winds up being a really horrible connection, like a trauma bond relationship. This person comes back because you're in a high vibration. So they're going to step into their divine self, because otherwise you'd be like, I'm not keeping you in my life because I'm actually having a good time. And if you're going to aggravate me, I'm not keeping you in my life. And this person knows it because you already cut them off. So they've already surrendered their ego. They're already coming back different. But if you're expecting this person to be able to articulate and say, oh, well, what I really emotionally felt, that's not happening until maybe 10 years down the line. Again, they're not emotionally intelligent. Maybe I'm exaggerating, and you'll see glimpses of it here and there, but that's not their strong suit. They'd be like, I cleaned your car. I made you a meal. I'll do something for you. Because again, that's the way that I show love. I'll buy you something. It's like, but I can't, that's hard. And you may be like, man, I need you to say it. And Spirit says, you've been looking for everybody to say it since your mother and father haven't said it. You're never getting that. You're like, why won't you give me that? And the universe says, because you think you need it. You don't need it. The perception is that you need it because you never had it. But the illusion is that, you can do all that yourself. And the twin flame journey teaches you that. That's what the twin flame journey does. It's not an easy journey. It's not, you'd have to have unconditional love. So we have to say, all right, well, why did I attract this person into my life? Because this is really friggin' hard twin flame. I got the IKEA brand, set it up myself, put it together myself, and I'm not good with setting it up. I can't follow directions. It's like I'm a visual person. It's and it seems impossible. And Spirit will say, well, let's take a peek and say, isolation, card number 1. Disassociation, card number 2, we already see trauma. Disassociation is yeah, I went through that experience, but I don't have a feeling about it one way or the other. It doesn't bother me. And Spirit says, oh, yeah, it bothers you. You're just detached from yourself. You don't have a feeling about it. You don't remember it. It's the way that your psyche protects yourself, because you're actually really hurt that you had to go into isolation every time you needed to heal yourself. Anytime you needed to figure things out, you didn't have any emotional support. There wasn't any support. And disassociation is trauma. And that could be from having to deal with things by yourself, but it's usually not. It's usually from, psychological abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse. Outdoors in nature, so a lack of connection to the physical world, the physical body, the physical elements of the physical world, which happen when we've gone through. Well, first of all, we've been conditioned in an environment that we don't trust. Again, because what we're watching. It's not a love thing. You can love a parent and still not trust them. It's like because they're an alcoholic or because they're going to get into another bad relationship just because of their own shit. It's like it doesn't mean you don't love. We love unconditionally, but the trauma and watching that parent go through their own hardships. Like if the parent keeps losing a job, I watched my dad go through that. He was losing his job, and that was a fear. And you get because you grow up in that environment and you're taking it on. The perception that money's hard, taking care of yourself is hard. And it creates a lot of rage. Understand, rage is that root chakra imbalance of anger when we hold that anger inside of ourselves for long periods of time. But that's the fire element. So again, the twin flame journey is about channeling that pain, which is going to come out like rage, which is fire, into power. Into like it's transmutation. It's the only energy that can actually transmute anything. So it's again turning something negative and turning it into something positive. A lot of times people say, I learned a spiritual lesson, but I'm still getting the same thing. Well, you haven't embodied the new consciousness. And so when you embody the new consciousness with this twin flame energy, it's through the act of creation, and you're in an upswing. Things are happening. You're walking into some sort of success. This person is like, I can help you with that. I can be there. Zombie, I will read everyone's comments after. I just want to know that I can't read and channel at the same time. So again, it created a lot of frustration. So again, the frustration is my life is difficult. That's what it'll make you feel like. Life is difficult. No, you get in your own way from overthinking that creates overstimulation. And so that's what happens with this person. And so there's a sense of, I feel inadequate. I feel like, again, that there's something wrong with me. And that's because, too, you have to pay attention to the emotions. This person is like, I just won't pay attention to the emotions. I'll suppress the emotions. And you can't. Come out, and through anger it's going to come out through other behaviorisms that are self-sabotaging. So 5, one more, and play. So again, what do I always say? Be like childlike, because again, children go out and play. I don't believe that you were allowed to go out and play, or if you did, you got in trouble, or you shouldn't have played that way, or you need to play this way. There's a sense that it was very controlled and restricted, or yeah, I could play, but I couldn't have people over because they were always fighting, or again, just very restricted. And so where now you're older, the spirit says, be like childlike, go out and find yourself, create yourself. By doing that, it puts you back in your body. Only in the now do you get divine guidance through gut, intuition, inner knowing. Get out of your head, get into your body, get grounded. You have to reparent yourself. Otherwise, you continue to attract the same types of people, situations. And you're like, but if this is my twin flame, then you need to step into this energy. You need to step into your divine energy to balance out this person because they don't know how to do it. You have to show this person. That's why it's hard, because you're like, motherfucker, like, don't know how to like treat me. And spirit says, well, do you know how to treat yourself? I'm inside of you as a gift of spirit. You're teaching this person how to treat you. No, well, it's like they should just know. And spirit says, no, it doesn't work that way. It's again, get back into your body. And again, allow yourself to feel your emotions, even when the person annoys you, and that person needs to that also. Is again, and get more connected to the body. And instead of isolating, it's learning how to communicate and communicate properly. Not the way that you both were taught, which was rageful. Again, the parents were screaming at each other. Everyone screams at each other, insults one another, again, that's a karmic thing. That's ancestral. Like, again, the God's like, I disapprove. That's out of alignment. You're both not going to get anything good out of that. It's like, learn how to talk to each other. Learn how to be vulnerable, learn how to be transparent, learn how to be, that's what unconditional love is. It's like twin flame journey is about transmuting that. And so it's triggering and it's hard and it's teaching. And guess what? It's frustrating. And so spirit says, so it's about channeling this frustration of rage by, again, grounding it. And the twin flame journey does that. That's to heal the disassociation. Again, that's fragmented pieces of self. Again, parts of you that's like, that doesn't work. So we're just going to put that over here and pretend that it's not there anymore. That part of myself. And where spirit's like, that's like a dog shit in the corner and you're going to pretend that it's not there. It's like, spirit's like, it needs to be integrated. There are gifts there too. When you're disassociated, it means that you're very sensitive, you're very psychic, because, hey, you don't feel one way or the other about it. So again, that's how you have good intuition. Channel the energy and realize that you don't need to go into isolation. It's about playing together. People that play together, stay together. You learn how to become friends first. You learn the basics because you weren't taught in the environment, either one. This is what a normal, respectful relationship is. So it's okay to be vulnerable. You're not going to be screamed at. You're not going to be told that you're dumb, that you're a piece of crap, that you need. It's, again, the unconditional love. It's like, if there's real love, you're going to step into that divine counterpart and you'd be like, well, that's impossible because I can't. And spirit says, if you are also creating at the same time, that fire of creation is also helping you transmute those spiritual blocks. And it's not just the passion in the relationship that's bringing the gifts to help create. It's, again, the yin, the yang, the balance, because that's what the twin flame journey teaches, balance. Because the person that has too much masculine energy, well, they want to be the authority and they don't want to be emotional. It's all about logic. It's all about structure. It's a little black and white. Where over here, intuitive Mary, this person doesn't have any boundaries and they'll go on forever and they're very colorful, fun to watch, but there's no structure or rhyme or reason to it, and they may be poor because they don't, that's not their forte. But both parties come together and they make one. So it's not like, they become one person. It's that they teach each other. They help each other transmute those wounds through the fact of understanding of, hey, I went through the same thing. I know what that feels like. And learning how to be vulnerable and learning how. But both parties have got to want to be open. And it always starts with the runner and a chaser. In the beginning, this person, they don't want any part of it. But God says, well, it's not up to you whether you want it or not. It's like, because I'm unconditional love. And I said, now is the time to awaken. It's like, and you're not going to know how to do it on your own. So you don't have a choice. I'm bringing in this person. And this is a twin flame journey. And it's not easy. And you're like, well, for me, because I wasn't allowed to play. The Spirit says a child figures out who they want, what they like, what they don't like, when they go out and they explore. But if there's so much trauma going on in childhood and you're so afraid, you're not going to do that. You don't feel supported. So you're not going to ask to join things because you might not be able to get a ride. There might not be enough money. It's again, there's the lack of support, the lack of roots made you live too safe, where Spirit's like, now you're looking for someone to love you. It's not going to happen. It's like, because you got to give it to yourself first. It's like, me first. I'm a jealous God through you first, because I'm inside of you. So it's, again, you first. And so when you give yourself that, you're teaching that person. Otherwise, you're not teaching anybody. So both parties, twin flame, weren't taught properly. That's why they're coming together. And that's why the divine does have a hand in it. Because there's magic. Because the child survives, thrives, and especially the twin flame journey does, because it's almost like, hey, it's magic. It's like, first of all, I didn't think that anyone could love me. Second of all, I didn't think that I could go this deep. Third of all, it's terrifying. Fourth of all, it's making me become a better person. Fifth of all, I want to murder the person. It's like, I feel like I'm crazy. 1 second you're happy and sad, and the Spirit says, because those are all those emotions. And when it's like that, that's not healthy either. Because saying that there's blocks in there, and there's hurt in there, but there's also love in there. And so you're holding on to a cognitive dissonance. And when you want it and you don't, and this person wants it and don't, you're stuck in a Mexican standstill. No one's moving. And so understand why this person comes at you out of nowhere. It's because they can't take it anymore. It's almost like this, the silence is deafening. And it's because you cut your energy off. And this person has that knowing, claircognizance, ESP through the heart and mind. This person ain't around. Someone's talking to somebody. This person's talking. That my person's talking to somebody. It's like, and like almost nervous, anxiety. And that's why, again, they don't know the day that they're coming, but it's going to be a day that Spirit is like, oh, I want this person to move their ass today. Yes, I've had enough of their shot. It's like of their fucking around with me. It's like, it's time for me to collect my due. It's like, let's turn up the heat. Because it's all about healing. And this person's ego was a little too big. So, a person doesn't really love until they surrender their ego. It's just the way that it goes. So the person has to come back with their tail between their legs. Just like Spirit's way of being like, yeah, we need to humble this person. And that they wasn't going to do it on their own. Action. My divine action ignites love and harmony. I am aware of my thoughts and driven by positive forces. I listen to my heart, my desire to manifest light, transform tests into growth, challenges into opportunities, and fear into love. And that's what happens when this person comes to you. Again, they're going to take action. Once they do that, again, it's going to unveil the big secret that they still have feelings for you. Not that you didn't know that. You're like, I know that. But look what they were showing me. They were showing me a bunch of shit. And Spirit says, yeah, the facade, the illusions. It's, again, hoping that you would move. But it's, again, that they're on a low vibration. It's the action that proves that they believe. And really, it's the test. They know that it's a test. If they don't come to you, they're not going to grow. It's not going to happen. They'll stay stuck in that lower. And really, like, this is not just that. It's like whatever's going on in your career. It's like, it's an opportunity. And really, Spirit says, really at the core, it's going to transmute that fear into love. Because that fear is what's got to go. It's what separates me from them. It's creating an illusion that I'm separate when I'm not separate. It's again, that person just can't be walking around with the trauma. You're not your trauma. You're, if you don't know who you are, then it's to go out and figure it out who you are and not just run it back into a relationship. But what we see here is that this relationship would actually be like a fun relationship if you balanced out the relationship, because this person wants to belong, they're ready to step into it, they're coming back humble, so they're not going to have a big ego. You're going to be stepped into your best self and showing this person. And so it's like you're kind of like the teacher that in this area. Now that doesn't mean if we get into business that this person is like a whiz with math, and you'll be like, I'm not a whiz with math, and they're like, oh my God, look how horrible. And then spirit says, hey, that's what your emotional intelligence looks like their math, and the person's like, my God, that looks horrible. Person's a retard. It's a person's like, it's a handicapped in that. It's like up to like kindergarten. The person has a kindergarten like brain. They were never taught. And that's what it would look like for that person that's advanced, where you're like, well, that's what they make the relationship difficult. And spirit says, yes, so you both have weaknesses and you both have gifts. And, understand everybody has gifts. Even Helen Keller had gifts. Understand that. It's like people will have perception that there aren't gifts, but I mean, listen, we're still talking about her to this very day. She changed the lives of millions of people and will continue to. So again, it's not like if you're handicapped or if you're really like mentally off, it's like you still have gifts, and spirit wants to show you you're not all that bad as what you see. Even if you were programmed in an environment that you believe that you were bad. That's the whole nature of the twin flame journey, is to show you things from a different perception. And none of those perceptions are wrong. It's like, again, it's everybody's different reality. But when it's unconditional love, we come to a place of surrender. And the person's action proves that. All right. That's the end of that one. Let me go and read some of these comments. I'm sorry that takes me so long. Okay, out of the blue, he blocked me right before Thanksgiving. I made him feel responsible for my painful year of his withholding. No explanation. I'm not angry. I love him, but not sure why anymore. I think that it's habit. It's like, again, for you, Gloria, it's like you're disassociated from your own trauma. So it's like, being in a relationship with someone that makes it difficult actually feels a little bit normal for you. Not that you want it. You don't want that either, but there's a conscious thing of feeling safety. I feel like that's number one. Otherwise, you wouldn't put up with it. It's what's familiar is what I'm trying to get at. But it's also like this person, every holiday, everything, it just seems like they would always ruin it. It's like, and it's their way of not forming intimacy. And that, again, would make you feel like there's something wrong with you when there's nothing wrong with you. That said, this person's not capable. It's like, stop going to the empty well for water. Got to go to other things to fill up your glass all the way up. It's like that teaches that person too. It's like, yeah, you want to fuck with me? Guess what? I don't need to go to you for my happiness. I'm happy because all these other people fill me up. I don't need you to. It's like, I know who I am. That's the best way to like shut a person down like that. I had disassociation. I didn't know who I was. I knew my name. I knew where I was, but I lost me. I had given it to the we. The we was destroyed. So I didn't know how to be me. Oh, well, yeah, like when you're in a relationship with someone, you do become a we, like, right? It's like almost like one identity and you do lose you. But that's why it's really important to like have hobbies, have interests, that you also connect on an emotional level with other people, so that, guess what, yeah, you get into a relationship and you're like, yeah, we're in the high time of it, we're in the sexy time in the beginning of the relationship. It's like where you want to be with the person, but after like like 3 weeks or 3 months, it's not like you're like bye. But what it is like, well, I really need to get back to the gym. Glory is at the gym, like when I'm there, and I like that person like gets me to like, you know, to run on the treadmill. And Sheila's gonna be at that dancing class or her cooking class. So I want to go there because you build emotional connection. When you build emotional connection, you train a person through how much you give them. And you're actually saying, I love me, I have a life. And this way, you're not so emotionally invested with someone. Otherwise, that's the problem. People get way too emotionally invested way too fast, too soon. They lose themselves. And then when the relationship breaks up, you're completely devastated because you're like, well, like, who am I now? And it's like, well, you shouldn't have lost yourself in that person to begin with. But did you ever lose yourself in that person? Maybe you didn't create yourself enough. And that's really what it comes down to. Life needs to look like a pizza pie. There are 8 slices of pizza. It's, again, I got time to work out. I got time for friends. I got time for hobbies. I got time for interests. And then that person only gets 1 slice of pizza. And in the beginning, a half a slice. Why? Because people don't appreciate. They don't appreciate, and a person that doesn't want to put up with it, well, guess what? You just weeded them out, because what you're saying is you can't deal with me like having a life like of my own. Well, that's not healthy, first of all, and it means that you don't have a life of your own. And then that person will, if that doesn't have a life on their own, is sure going to turn into a we, because they need you for their emotional support, because they're not getting it from anywhere else. And you'll be coming in to give it thinking that you're going to get it back, and the person won't know how to give it back. So it's really important. We were not allowed to play, only to work like farmhands from time we were 5 years old. Well, Diane, that's why it's like, again, for you, then essentially that you would have to go out and like find yourself. And that's not the easiest thing, by the way. What you're going to see is, oh my God, I have anxiety. I'm going to have like, what do I have? What am I going to join? What is this? Like, there's going to be all this like anxiety. Like, when meanwhile, like, all I said is go out and have fun. Fun. What do you mean? Go out and have fun. What does that look like? Do I have to buy an outfit? You know what I mean? It's like, how much is it going to cost me? Like, it's all this anxiety, when really Spirit says, oh my God, do you see like how that just turned into that? Where it's, again, that means you have to work through that. And that's what might be, go to yoga, do breath work, and then find something that you're interested in. It doesn't mean to date. It means find something that you're interested in. With like, I joined the book club, I joined dancing, I joined whatever it is. It's like part of you doesn't know who you are if you only learn to work. And it also means that if you had to deal with anything on your own, like meaning had to go into like isolation, like in this story, to like deal with anything, then you're not getting the emotional support that you need, so you won't know how to get it, like you said. So it's really important. Like, we tend to undermine like having fun, passion, and understand it's the worst thing that you can do. It's like you have to have that, because it's the passion for life. When you have fun, believe it, it activates your imagination. If you can imagine it, you can create it. You can't embody a consciousness that you have never experienced. It's like, I'd like to have $1 million. Do you know what it feels like to have $1 million? No. You know what I mean? It's like, I want it. You have to be able to like feel it. So it's like, that's why they say fake it till you make it. And that's why they say be like childlike, because children don't say, oh, I can't be an actor. They say, I'm going to be an actor, then I'm going to be an astronaut, and that's my spaceship. And meanwhile, it's a cardboard box. And Spirit says, you use what's in your environment to help you. That's that root chakra, when it's, again, the connection to the physical world and the physical body and all the physical elements of the physical world. That's what we're talking about. Getting better connected to the body to other people. It's again, and that's through, again, things that you love. We were together as a couple 50 years ago. We reunited 4 years ago, had a wonderful travel experience together, came home from Greece, and he left me for another. Now he can't talk to me. Yeah, of course that would happen. It's like, because it's like the relationship went so fast. It went so fast. Thank you, Laura, for another. Oh, thank you, Gloria. It went fast, Bluebird. It's like a person that, like, again, where you were together as a couple for 50 years ago, a long time ago. I've seen this happen a lot of times. Person would think that you are the same person that you were 50 years ago, and you are not the same person. And I feel like this person, it went so fast that this person like got ahead of themselves. And of course, they're not going to be able to talk to you because they're embarrassed at the way that they handled it. They didn't have a conversation really about it. They were talking to somebody else the whole time. So here it is. You're thinking you're in a deep connection with this person when the whole time that there was someone else there. And that person might say that that person wasn't. If they weren't, it was like maybe 2 weeks. There was like a window. But it's, again, for the most part, they were there. So they never were emotionally as invested. And the relationship went fast. And this person, again, got carried away. But then it's like they had already invested in that other person. And so that's why that they can't really talk to you. They can't talk to you because I'm embarrassed. I don't really know how to come back from that. How are they going to come back from that? It's like, you can't come back from that. It's like, I'm sorry, I was with somebody else. And really, if you would take them back, it wouldn't be good either, because you would be showing that you weren't valuing yourself. And I know that it really hurts, because I know that obviously you cared about this person, but it's the relationship went from 0 to 100. And there was a lot of passion, but there was also a lot of what things used to be. But you both didn't take the time to get to know who each other is now. And I feel like you were ready to be like, hey, I'm ready to like set up shop. You know what I mean? And this person was like saying it, but emotionally wasn't as connected, and you didn't notice that where you would have noticed it. But I feel like you get a lot of anxiety, like you were like trying to be like almost like perfect, almost trying, and you were perfect. And so this has nothing to do with your perfectness. This has to do with, like, I don't take this the wrong way, but almost like a neediness, like I wanted that emotional. I really wanted like that, and this person felt it, and that terrifies people, because it's like, oh, now you have expectation, and it says more about them than you. So I'm just saying, like, it's like, don't take that serious, but it's the reality. It's the reality is, I wanted that to work out, and it didn't work out. And that's why you're saying, don't overgive too fast, too soon. Emotionally learn the spiritual lesson so it never happens again, because it happened because of abandonment of self, because emotionally you were like, I wanted this is, again, I wanted that. The spirit says, are you doing it for yourself? How do you do it for yourself? A relationship. And the spirit says it represents passion. What are the other passions in your life? What helps you connect to other people on a heart level, on an emotional level? If that was filled up all the way, you would have noticed. I just needed to let you know, because it will happen again. Remember, what you resist persists. You keep getting it again. It becomes a karmic loop of, I keep getting people that, come in and they take from me, and then they don't give. And it's like, or they make it like they want a real relationship, and then it's like, I let my guard down, and then they don't really want that. So you'll begin to think that it's you. It's not you. It's a karmic loop. That's why. Welcome, Scarlett. Hi, yeah, hi, Ginger George. And okay, and then and thank you, Ginger George, about the message. Okay, perfect harmony. I blocked him tonight. I can't stop crying, but I know it's the best thing to do. Third party remains strong. He went to a concert with his ex, took pictures of her posting on social media. Oh hell no. Yeah, it's a disrespect. It's a disrespect. And that's the thing. It's like these people that want to keep on, like, have a person that still, I actually did that for my Virgo channel. That was a reading that I did where somebody just didn't want to let go of their ex, but wanted to hold on to you too, but that's a fragmented relationship. It's like, well, I like them because it's, again, they treat me like a mom. I'm comfortable. They dote on me. We have a good time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then why aren't you still fucking together? Oh, yeah, because you have a commitment issue. Oh, that's why. That's right. So you screwed them over, and now they have a problem because now you've moved on to somebody else. So they're saying, hey, well, why can you have a relationship with that person and not with me? So that person comes back in, and now they don't have to, like, figure it out. Oh, great. I'm so glad. Woo! And that's really what it is. So I wanted to cheer. Yeah, like, no. No, it's what that is it's like, again, it's about respect. You can cheer somebody up and send them a nice little text message, but you don't have to, it's the route. So you don't have to question yourself. You don't have to question yourself. You join the membership here because right now I have, like, it's like kind of like a dormant membership. I am working with someone though. If you're really interested, Ginger George, I'll hook you up with my person. Okay. Kim Pierce, Bluebird, so painful. I'm so sad for you. Yeah, it's horrible. Like, that happens, that people do that, but it happens all the time. It's because the relationship goes so fast. Just heard of this one girl. She married her high school sweetheart. Same thing. She's 50 years old. 55 now, 54. She proposed to him. I didn't know this. I just found out. She proposed to him, and guess what? Like, got a beautiful wedding. They bought a house, and like less than 1 year filing for divorce. Like, he was horrible to her kid. And it's like, I think it's like you wanted that person to be who they were and vice versa. And so, you know, and to rekindle, it's a lot of passion and it's a lot of excitement, but it's all based in like fantasy. And that's why it's like it's not real. And when things are not real, it's like you only know through time. That's why I said the relationship went a little too fast. I'm sorry, but the way to get over that, like I said, is keep pouring into yourself. Believe me, if you got to go away to Greece with this guy, there'll be plenty more out there. It's like, and then when you're actually dating those people, you're going to be like, you know what? Maybe this guy wasn't giving me as much. You'll begin to see, like, the red flags. That's the only thing when we learn the spiritual lesson. But that's why I say I do the healing reading so that you don't give so much. And it wouldn't be surprising too that after a certain amount of time, but it would be a long time. And I'm not telling you this to, like, hold on, but I feel like that he'll eventually come back. But again, when the relationship gets to a certain point, it's like, but will he ever give you what you deserve? No. That's who this person is. It's like that's the thing. It's really, everybody deserves, like, unconditional love. And but you have to always hold the standard to it. Otherwise, people are going to treat you from how they used to being able to treat people. And a lot of times that has nothing to do with you. Got my own age. It's free and clear before Aries reconnect and have you so awful thus far. Thank you for watching the channel. And yeah, it's like relationships are hard. Relationships are hard, but like you said, try to apply the information. Remember, you're your own healer. So, like make sure that your life is as balanced as you can, because then you can really see like when a person's not consistent, like when your life is busy, you'll catch those little lies when people are, like I said, not consistent. So you're not so close up to the picture. You're not so emotionally invested. It's like, understand a person will feel that too, and they'll come in and they'll try and make you like invest, but then because they don't want to feel abandoned. And then once they feel comfortable, then they're like, well, let me figure out whether I want this or not. Your job is to be like, I'm never going to let you really be comfortable because I don't really know whether I want you or not. It's not being a mean. What you're being is honest. People run in today and say, oh, I love you. Let's run away together. I felt like we have this connection. Let's get married. People, again, too fast. And we know feelings take time to cultivate. So I feel like a lot of people just say, well, I just want to treat people the way I want to be treated. But if we're in a desert and never had water, and you'd be like, I need about 17 million gallons of water. And that's because you're in a desert. So of course you need that much water. You're dehydrated, you're thirsty, but you really don't need that much water. You just perceive you need that much water. And so again, we overcompensate or undercompensate depending. And so you guys, I feel like a lot of you guys are emotionally not taking care of yourself. So you feel like you need a lot. You go into the relationship, you give a lot, and then you think that you're dealing with someone that's going to treat you the way that you treat them. And they didn't earn it. It's about earning it. It's like respect. Otherwise, it's like, I treat you the way that you treat me. That's why whenever you see kids that get really spoiled by their parents, and then they're not really nice to their parents, you're like, well, what the hell is that? It's like, well, it's always going to be there. It lets me treat them however I want. I get what I want. I love them, but I don't respect them. So there's a difference. That's what it is. It's about respected, because love without respect, you'll kill each other. It's like that's what'll happen, because it'll continually trigger you. And it should, because that's the God inside of you that says, like, I need to be loved. I need to be respected. I trusted him too quickly and he didn't. Right. That's where you went wrong. But you learn. So you never lose. And that's okay. It's like you had a time, you had a beautiful trip. It's a memory. It's like you like to travel, join a traveling group. Guess what? You'll meet a lot of other people to travel with. It's like, keep your mind. Don't ruminate on that. It's like, because it'll make you feel like you did something wrong. That person was a coward. They dipped out. It's like you're talking to somebody else the same time that you're talking to me. So how invested are you with that person? You just like to do that. It's like, and there are some people that do because they feel empty and, they can't sustain themselves energetically or emotionally. So they have to connect to other people. But you learn and you do things differently. And when you do things differently, you shape shift the situation. So don't get caught up in saying, oh, well, this person did this, so this is what I'm going to get. That happened that time. It's like you learned. That's what life is. It's about learning. And now it's about, stepping into your best version of yourself, feeding yourself more, and then living your bliss, and understand the universe knows what you want more than you do. So you don't really have to look for anything. You just have to get into the energy of unconditional love, and you'll be brought love. Don't think about this person again and what they did. They took enough already. It's, again, don't let them take anymore. That's your tool. Because a lot of times those people that do shit like that, they're like, I was talking to somebody else as meanwhile I have with this person. Well, it's again, you need to cut your energy off from them, you know? If no one has any other questions, I think I got to do a reading. I think that I was supposed to do a reading at 8:15. Let's see. I told her, I said, yeah, but I said 8:30. Let's see. Does anyone have any other questions? If not, I'm gonna run, but I'm gonna try and be on more often. You guys could always send me messages on, readings that you want me to do. On certain topics. I will be starting to do readings with based on topics. You're welcome, Bluebird. Be kind to yourself. It's okay that happened. It's more of a reflection of that person than it is of you. Just remember, to protect yourself so that doesn't happen again. But very rarely does it, because it's like you're going to be like nervous. This way you don't need to be paranoid either. You don't want to be paranoid, but you don't want to be, you don't want to be, one way, too much one way or the other. It's like, but the best way is to be balanced, to give to yourself. All right, guys, gotta run. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.